Hello everyone and welcome back to another Ark Guide. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you a bunch of great base locations and where you can find them. Alright, so the first one here actually is a structure, and there's quite a bit you can do here. There's a bunch of smaller sections that are all connected together, and all the rooms are kind of crumbling apart or destroyed. But it'll be really great to set up individual rooms, almost like a small little castle or like a house. You can have your workshop in one and so on and so forth. But yeah, you would have to rebuild this, and it would be a really great base because it provides you with a lot of built-in protection. It'll save you quite a bit of resources. Just gotta lay down some foundations to place like a smithy and a forge, and you'll be all set. And the coordinates for this can be seen on screen now. All right, the next location here is actually just a little ways down from where we were. It's going to be this plateau here. This plateau is really big. I mean, we're talking enormous. You could build a giant mansion here and multiple different buildings and taming pens as well. It stretches all the way out to over here, and it's directly above the water, so quick, easy access to water. And just around the corner here is a bunch of resource dinos, and you have metal on the mountain directly above it. So you'll be set in this spot. And here are the coordinates. All right, this next one here is a bit more of a humble location. You have this water well in the middle because that's essential. It is just on the edge of the desert here. And then you also have some small little rooms as well. This would be more of a starter base if you don't want to be in the middle of things or too crazy, but it'll keep you away from everything, and then you definitely can expand out into this green patchy area. And here are the coordinates. And this next one here is the Colosseum. Now, what I will say is, in regards to space, this thing is insane. You have so much space on the inside of the Colosseum. You have two different cities surrounding the Colosseum. You have so much you can do here. But honestly, it'd be a really large build. The only problem is I could not find a reliable water source within any distance whatsoever, so you'd probably die of thirst out here. And the next one here is this cool looking church type castle building. Also out in the desert on the edge of the area here on the bottom of the mountains. A lot of space on the inside, but it also has the same problem as the Colosseum, and then I could not find a reliable water source anywhere close by. So you would definitely need to take advantage of things like rain falling from the sky. And I've got the coordinates on screen for you now. And this next one here is a really good spot. It's actually closer to the middle of the map here. You have this giant plateau and this bridge that crosses to get to this location, so it's pretty easy to block off. You also have a red drop directly at the edge of your base, and it's just this massive, insanely big flat area, and there's a ramp to go straight down to the water, so it's pretty easy access for you to get up here at the beginning of the game, and you could set up shop and just start slowly building to your huge mansion. And I've got the coordinates on screen for you now. And this next one here has got a water piece down on the bottom here. And if you go just to the right of it, there's this massive plateau directly above it. And you have a whole bunch of room to build here. And then on the right hand side, there's actually a structure you can utilize. And then on the far left hand side, also a structure you can utilize. So you would just use the water tank and daisy chain the water to whichever location you want to be able to use. And you can take advantage of that and all the flat space that this location has to offer. And I've got the coordinates on screen for you now. And this next location here is pretty well hidden. So you've got this small little structure here and this small little space on the bottom, but that's actually not the main part of this build. You'll want to go just up the hill here, and there's not really any reliable way to do it, so you would have to build down to take advantage of that small area. But up here, there's this massive flat area and all of these trees and cactuses, and then in the dead center, there also is another structure, so you could definitely use that as part of your build or a centerpiece. But then you have all this extra flat land and then just a walkway straight down to the water again. Definitely easy to miss, but a really good spot to build if you want to really build something large. And I've got the coordinates on screen for you now. All right, and then this next one here is also pretty hidden. This one's a little bit more humble, but you do have some small space up here to build with. I would say a pretty medium or smaller sized base. Nothing too crazy, but it does keep you away from all the threats. And then if you go down just a little bit here, you have a little bit more flat area to work with. But then you have your own personal swimming pool. You can invite all your buddies over and take a nice little dive here. And it goes down quite a bit. And on the bottom, you got yourself a little treasure hoard of silica pearls. And yeah, it's pretty humble, small, but really cool. And it's just right here next to the blue obelisk. And I've got the coordinates on screen for you now. All right, and taking a look at this one here, this one is a big one. You got this massive plateau again. There's quite a few plateaus here in the Scorched Earth, and so much flat space to work with here. You do, of course, have to do some trimming and some gardening to knock down all the foliage and the rocks here, but once you do, you can pretty much do whatever you want because this thing is huge. And the great thing is there's literally only one way to get to it, so it's pretty safe. You are semi close to the mountains, so you'd have to be careful of RGs coming in, but it's a great place to set up shop. And here are the coordinates. Alright, this next one here is also pretty hidden down underneath all this underbrush here. And it's a really flat area. A lot of these great places are actually just kind of hidden. So you have all this flat space to work with. And the great thing is this is a plateau. But what's really cool is it's out in the middle of nowhere. And usually water is a concern. But on this bottom part here, you have even more room to build with. And in the far back corner, you have your trusty handy water source. So you can definitely live out here and make a good living. And I've got the coordinates on screen for you now. And this next one here is insane. This plateau is massive. There's so much you can do with it. Pretty much every plateau here that's next to the water is great, but this one here is actually between two waterfalls, and you have so much room to work with. And here are the coordinates. All right, and this next one here is a little bit of a smaller plateau, more on the humble side, probably a medium-sized base, but pretty easy to block off, and then you can also build up to the upper section as well. And here are the coordinates. And the sandstorm is gone, thank goodness. Well, this next one here is amazing. It is flat, it's in the open, and there is a reliable water source here in the middle. Just be careful though, because as you can probably see at the very bottom here, there is the infamous rock golem, and you don't want them startling you're breaking down their base, so you do need to be careful when setting up shop, and don't run up and hit a rock if it looks kind of funny. If it starts jiggling, you better start running. And here are the coordinates for you. All right, and this next one here is actually going to be pretty small. It's basically going to be just this little cavern here. You can easily block off both sides. And if you're looking for something just a little humble, you could go through and set up shop in here. But again, if this is an early game base, the fact that you could literally have a golem spawn on your doorstep is a bit concerning. So I would say proceed with caution here, and this may be a temporary one. Now this right here, this next one, is the mother lode. This is probably the biggest, most expensive base you can do if you like building with structures. There's this massive cliffside town where you can take advantage of and just probably chop down all these trees or use them. And underneath here, you can see you have this path that walks all the way up. And basically runs all the way up top here into the actual village itself. And there's another outlet. And there is an upper level to this town as well. So you can really do some crazy things. If you are a builder and you want to do something like that and have the time, or if you got a large tribe. The great thing is you do have this pretty chunky plateau down here as well to build a big building for whatever you may need. Just another rock golem though, and being this big though, I'm sure that should be no issue. And then you do have this giant long path to be able to get out on the opposite end, so you can reliably exit with creatures that can walk and do not have to constantly utilize a flyer to get to and from your base. And here are the coordinates for this guy. Alright, and this next one here, we've got ourselves another water well. We are pretty far removed from the river here. But unlike the other ones with the water well, this one's actually a pretty greenish area, greenish brownish area. And you have this massive flat area that goes all the way around here. It is very open, so you do need to be cautious of that as you don't have a bunch of natural protections. But you can literally do whatever you want here. There is so much room. You can just build a giant barricade with gates, or you can live home style like the free ranch and just hope for the best. And I've got the coordinates on screen for you now. All right, this next one here, you can either make a humble home just located on the inside here, or you can take advantage of all the space on the outside as well and make this something crazy. On the inside here, the great thing is it's small, it's flat, and you have these huge rocks as natural protection. And you're right next to the water, making for a great natural kind of fishing type dock, as long as you don't get snatched up by a capra or mauled by these raptors. But if you go to the right here, you can slowly sneak out the back here, and you do fit. I'm flying, but you can definitely walk through here as well. And you have this insane amount of like perfectly flat ground absolutely everywhere surrounding this entire formation of rocks. And you could really do quite a bit with this here. So you can have your nice cozy little home on the inside. If you want your workshop or maybe some pens for your dinosaurs out here, definitely a great thing that you can do. And it goes all the way down directly to the water. Just again, watch out for those pesky capros. And I've got the coordinates on screen for you now. All right, and this is going to be the last one that I've got for you. This here, you start off with a small little structure on the bottom, and then welcome to the elephant graveyard, or whatever kind of graveyard, but it's pretty scary, and if you like death or skulls, then this is definitely the place for you. And I'm guessing the reason they probably all died is because I could not find a single bit of reliable water anywhere near, but it has an insane amount of flat ground, and really easy to build on. But yeah, if you like this kind of thing, then awesome. All right, well, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment down below where you chose to build, and subscribe to see more.